We're gonna do backing today. I wanted to show you. I bought some polka dot material I was gonna use for the back, but I didn't have enough. I only bought 3 yards for the back. I needed 4 because, okay, so I usually lay my quilts out onto my floor because I have a lot of space here. So I laid the backing material, I'm not getting this centered, onto the floor, and I put my quilt top over top of it. And if you can see, there's only a few inches on either side of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the whole 4 yards because it doesn't cover, the width of the material is never wide enough, not usually, for the quilt top. So I usually cut it cut it in half, widthwise, and then I sew it together lengthwise. So I have enough widthwise and I have enough lengthwise. So what I'm going to do is iron it first, press the seams out of it, because the seams, there's a seam down the center from being folded, and there's a few wrinkles in it. So what I'm going to do is iron it, take off the selvage before I sew it together. I have to cut it at the upper end, and then I'll take the selvage off, and then I'll sew it together on, sew these 2 pieces together here. And then we'll have a piece wide enough. It's going to be pretty much too wide because when I take off the selvage, it's only 42 inches wide. Some material is 45 inches, but this one's a little bit shorter. So I'm going to press it so that there are no wrinkles in it. Then I'm going to cut it on this side. I'm going to measure it even. Cut this in half because it's a 4-yard length piece of material. Then I'm going to put them together and sew down the sides. So then I'm going to have a wider piece. So your seam is going to be in the middle. So you can center your quilt in the middle and then cut off the excess if you want. I usually try to keep the seam down the center because I think it looks better, but I don't like to have seams in the backing of my quilt. If you want a seamless back, there are plain pieces of material that they make, usually come in cream and white. There aren't a whole lot of materials that come wider, like the plain piece of materials that come real wider are white or cream. Sometimes they have other pale colors, but when I was looking, that's all they had. And they come 108 inches wide usually, so you can make a king size out of them. But for the most part, I like the flannel backs for the baby quilts. And I did put this same flannel piece right here in my quilt top because it's softer. The rest of it is smooth cotton, but this is a soft flannel. So I do like that for the baby quilts because the kids like them. I was going to use a polka dotted material, like a tiny little polka dot, and I didn't have enough of it. So I ended up getting more of this because they had more of this. That's why when you buy material, I usually buy more just because I don't always know the colors I'm going to use for my border, and also the color that I'm going to use for the binding, because it usually takes about they tell you to get a half of a yard for binding, and you don't normally use all of it, but Usually I have enough material for the binding because it doesn't take a lot. But for the borders like this and the backing, you need more. So in order to have less seams, I just buy a 4-yard piece, and then I cut it in half, and then I sew it down the side. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to stop the video and do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I did.